Meeting to order and welcome everyone to the City of Bremerton Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. Today is Tuesday, March 25th. Hello, thank you for being here. Hopefully we get some other folks that'll
Yeah,
join
I'm
us.
gonna monitor and see
online.
if they email
Yeah.
me, but I'm not
Sounds
seeing
good,
it.
but I know we got enough for a quorum, so
Yep.
we'll get rocking and rolling. All right, first up on tonight's agenda, we have approval of our minutes from our last meeting, which was February 25th. I hope everyone had a chance to look over those minutes and take, anybody like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as read.
There's Ken.
A second.
All right, all in favor of approving the minutes from February 25th, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that will pass unanimously. Oh, there's Mr. Riley. Thank you.
Oh, sure thing. Good evening, good evening.
Yeah, all right, and Commissioner Riley was a yes on that as well, approving those minutes?
Yes,
All
absolutely.
right, thank you.
You're
Thank
Just
you.
in time.
Perfect.
welcome.
Okay, next up, we have approval of tonight's agenda. So if anyone has any questions or comments or wants to make a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I would move we approve the agenda as presented.
All right, got a motion to approve.
A second.
All right, we have a second. All right, all in favor of approving tonight's agenda, please say aye.
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 Hi,
All right, and that will pass unanimously as well. All right, next up, we have public comment. I don't see anyone here and anyone in virtual world? No.
No.
Okay, well, moving right along. Next up, we're going into staff reports and updates. First up, Brian, maintenance and operations activities, please.
Just real briefly before, if you notice, we moved these to the top just so we can get them done and spend the rest of our time and not have to rush through them at the end.
Cool.
Not that we have a ton to say, but
So, from a parks maintenance and operation, two things that we're working on, this month is, we have a major water leak at the Blueberry Park. And then,
Oh, no.
so we're in progress, we're making headway on that, but that's pretty good sized job. I didn't get the water for the heat. Back into the spigot. So there was only one on and one off for that, where the meter was at, so if something happened in P-PAC, you had to shut off the entire park.
Oh, man, to include the restroom.
To include restroom and everything else, and now we're putting in isolation valve. So we're cutting down the options of where the leak are at, but giving us a lot more control in the future, that if we do have future breaks, it doesn't mean total closure of the park. So hopefully we'll get that up this week. Field ops are coming up this month. That includes like aerification, fertilization of our athletic fields. Filling any low spots and overseeding those. So those will be in progress here, in this next month. This time of year, busy in the hiring process. I feel like I've been in the hiring process since I've been here. Right now, we're looking to fill 5 summer help positions and 1 janitorial position. So those have been advertised. We've been reviewing the applicants and setting up interviews. So more to come on that, but things are progressing on that front. Fourth thing I have was an update from last month, was Cold Mountain Golf Course. The driving range pad has been completed.
All right, thanks, Brian.
I asked him if quality testing meant hitting driving range balls. Like hitting some range balls, but
style stuff that, needs to be applied over top of the concrete slab. It's basically
Looks
used
good.
during the winter time when they're not drawing season.
Do you have an update or a time schedule when the fountains downtown will be operational?
Sure, I can do that. We're in the process of cleaning up them and going through everything. Turning on the water, hence the reason why we found the water leak at Blueberry. We're in the process of that right now and pulling everything out of winter time, so everything's gonna start coming on for shortly.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
It'd be nice to post when you think you're gonna be doing, is there something, so that we all go down and watch them start for the first time of the year. Ooh and ahs, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Ooh, ah, oh no.
But the next two things on our staff reports are Eden Park and Kitsap Lake, and I'm just gonna go ahead and let quarterback that for right now, and I'll answer any questions.
Progressing, we scheduled the playground build day for Saturday, April 19th. We're in the process of putting a flyer together. We've also put the word out to the Navy, so it sounds like we have the Navy Junior RTC scheduled, maybe some other military from the Navy Hospital, thanks to Mick Hershey. I don't know if all of you know who he is, that he's been a long-term volunteer at the cemetery and just has a good connection with the Navy, so he's been great to work with on that.
What time are we starting on?
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
9
Thank you.
a.m. And then
Rain or shine?
as soon- Yeah, as soon as the flyer, because the flyer will have some information as to what sort of tools you could bring if you have them.
Yeah.
What size wrench and so
Yep.
forth makes sense.
Yep.
We're actually gonna have the posts installed, where's the playground? The posts will be installed by the contractor that week ahead of time, and then our crew will start hanging some of the equipment on Friday.
Cool.
So that we can get a jump start and kind of know where
Ready.
things are, kind of stage things for
Yeah.
the volunteer day. So,
Great.
yeah, super excited.
It's not the option most people thought.
This is the preferred option, yeah.
He was asking.
We made minor change to it,
Yeah,
but
we substituted one of the
Yeah.
slides because we had 4 slides for a climber just to make space in the footprint. Yeah, we're super excited. There are lots of finishing touches that need to happen on that park. The safety surfacing won't go in the same time as actually waiting to see where we fall on budget as to whether or not we can afford to have it blown in, which saves a lot of time, but costs a lot more money. I think it's off the top of my head, I think it's like $9,000 more to blow it in versus, like it's $8,000 more to blow it in versus dump it. But then dumping it requires a lot of labor, a lot of wheelbarrows. So, yeah, we're tight on that budget, so we're being careful. Other things that we have are to do are new signage, plantings, restroom, which I'll let Brian share kind of where we are with that. But yeah, it's gonna be done this summer, but we're not telling people yet when it's gonna be done. We're not sure. There's lots of finishing touches to do, so.
when will the flyers be available?
they should be this week.
Probably this week,
Yeah.
yeah.
People.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of families there.
We'll definitely send it out to all of you, so you can put it out there. as
Yeah,
well.
and if you want copies, just respond back and we can
Yeah.
have copies ready for you too. Yep. Mhm.
Yeah, This
We'll
next,
get more community come.
Yeah.
Right.
next Saturday is Callow cleanup, so it'd be nice to have a flyer
Yeah.
to put down.
Yeah.
Is that something we post on the city's website as well?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, yeah, and it'll be on social media too. Yep. And I'm sure at some point prior to it, the mayor will speak about it during his mayor comments at one of the council meetings.
Yeah, and it sounds like the restroom's coming in this week. Are we still? Do we have anything to report on that yet?
We're hoping. So we've got the general contractor on site today, as well as his plumber. I left a message with CXT right before I left to come here. And trying to see if it's on a truck to be delivered this week and how we can coordinate hookup of the electrical and the plumbing and everything else. We were hoping, like I said, hoping to have it done this week. Might be a ribbon cutting closer to the playground than it is the restroom, but we'll
That's
see.
okay. Better to get it done right than
Yep.
rush it, yeah.
Is that a prefab then?
Mhm.
It is
Yeah.
a prefab.
Okay.
And it will get dropped from Lafayette by crane.
One of the-
One of the options. Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, and they just.
That's the
poured
more
new,
fun option.
new Concrete walkways along the side.
Yeah.
You know, pad or is it?
It has
It's a pad.
it has a concrete foundation
Yeah,
attached to it, but it'll sit on a gravel pad.
and when we talk about, even though it's prefab, we have different things that we're hooking up to it, such as irrigation controllers and things like that, lights. So we need that electrical to be tested and everything else before we can sign off on it. So trying to get all those contractors into play and getting it on site, getting the contractors dialed in and getting an opening date.
All right, Clay, you wanna talk about Kids at Play?
Yeah, we've got a video to show, so it'll
Oh.
show you better than I can
Awesome.
explain kind of what it looks like right now, but essentially in a nutshell, contractors working on the punch list items. Our crew has been out there removing some ivy and planting some native plants that was required as part of our permit for installing the shelter where in its location within 200 feet of the lake. But yeah, you'll see in the video kind of where it is right now. So the contractor, one of the things that they're doing is also doing the topsoil and hydro seeding, but that's not done yet. And then out of contract, we'll need to get a irrigation design and installer. So that project's going to be kind of have another phase after this phase with the irrigation and the playground. And we're expecting our grant that we applied for with Department of Commerce. We're expecting to know about that in June. So, yeah, so we'll do another whole playground kind of meeting to get input on that. Mhm.
All right. Is that something you can play for us now? Or
It'll be, you're talking about just having it as part of when we go, when we go through the parks.
Sounds good.
No teasers.
All right. All right, Director, you have the next two, Team Bremerton, World Cup planning, and then the WRPA regional meeting.
Okay, team, just these are just little updates on some things that we're doing. So there's a group that's kind of formed related to a little bit of promotion to downtown, but also being a support for the efforts with us being a fan zone for the World Cup. So I attended a meeting a couple weeks ago. Good group of mixed people, a lot of ideas, but no direction yet. I found out from the mayor today that he has heard that he has the ability to receive the playbook now to what a fan zone is. He just has to sign for it because it's a copyrighted document that they created, but we're at least getting somewhere because otherwise everybody's been, okay, well, what do we do? Or we're already too late. We should be doing things. And so we'll get that playbook. And Katie Ketterer from Public Works is going to be our kind of point of contact for the city as far as the event is concerned. And she's also the one that is overseeing a project manager for Quincy Square right now. So we're just going to kind of, when Quincy Square is done, she'll put a lot of her time into that project as well. So she'll take the lead as far as the city's concerned. We have some initial thoughts of what we want to do. And we kind of think the main thing that we need to focus on is the match days in Seattle. and creating an environment for locals to be able to gather together to watch the games if they're not going to be at the game. And so looking at the boardwalk area as kind of that location, but also having some other activities and things at Quincy Square and other areas downtown. So there'll be 6 different dates that will be essentially required to have activities going on as a fan zone, and those are all the 6 dates of games in Seattle. One of them is June 19th, which is when the U.S. men's national team is playing in Seattle. So we'll at least get one of their games, which is great. But then there'll be 5 other matches between mid-June and mid-July timeframe, all weekday games.
Month-long event, that's.
It is, yes. Yeah, 41 days is the full event. So yeah, so mayor's asked me to sit in on some of those or sit in on those meetings to just kind of help be there as a representative. So
I saw they were hoping to have 2 big ferries restored by then as well. I
yeah,
was reading on that,
so
which was-
yeah,
which
so the
was great.
governor has agreed to restore the ferries starting
Yeah.
this summer. Yeah, but I think Kitsap Transit and the county are also looking at trying to do some increased services as well.
Is the World Cup this summer?
Next summer,
Next summer.
26. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but they're looking to restore the ferry service this summer.
Great.
However, that ends up happening
Exciting.
magically. Staffing and ferries. So that's it on that. As far as the WRPA regional meeting, so this is so Washington Recreation and Park Association is a membership organization for us as professionals in the state to just kind of help support, provide networking, training, different activities. I've been involved with state agencies in Oregon and Idaho for a long time. The former director was a member, but I don't know if staff has always been members. So I've signed up 8 of our staff to be members and 4 of us.
Mhm.
I was like trying to remember how many. So we had a regional meeting, and for some reason we're considered the Southwest region of Washington. So anybody from the upper part of the peninsula down to Vancouver, Washington. We all met in Olympia last month, and 4 of us went to the meeting. It was a great meeting. Great opportunity for us to network. And I have a little video that Colette made that I wanted to show you that I thought was not on this one, but
Was it just a 1-day thing that you guys?
it was
went
like a
down for?
half day,
Oh, okay.
kind of, yeah. Yeah.
One thing that just it was eye-opening to see what these other jurisdictions saying issues and funding and what was it, a person that works in Olympia was talking about closing restrooms and.
Yeah, Olympia's seeing some major changes happening with limited support. So I think, for communities like ours that, we feel like we struggle and we need more resources. Everybody needs more resources. We're not always the top of the food chain ever in government structure. But at the same time, let's see. I need to share it first. So let me see if I can do that.
So when will the mentality of parks being on the bottom of the whole pyramid, and funding and everything, when will that change? How can we get it to change? I mean, people love the park.
So yeah, so a way to do that is kind of starting to be a trend in the state. And when I first got involved with the administrators network of WRPA is city parks and rec departments are looking at creating parks and rec districts. And so they would essentially take the funding they receive from general fund, property taxes, and then create their own organization, governmental organization with its own structure.
In
And
the
then,
present Parks District.
yeah, so then you're,
Yeah.
yeah, so there's a fair amount of communities that are moving towards that direction. Ken, can you see the video?
I
Okay.
can't. Yeah.
It's paused. Yeah. Okay. So this is just a quick little video that we shot that just kind of shows you some of the interaction that we did and the group. I thought it was a really good turnout. Oh, this is the only one I didn't download, of course.
To read what's on here.
Feed you guys?
There were some snacks. It was more of like a bring your own lunch. Yeah. They encourage you to bring your own lunch, but yeah, it was like a 2-hour session. Yeah, anything from maintenance challenges to programming to administration. Yeah, so there were different, so we were sitting at tables. And so there were topics that we would talk about amongst ourselves and introduce each other, obviously ourselves. But then there was also kind of group think and then putting them up on boards. And I haven't seen that they've sent them out yet. But they plan to send it out so then we can get all of the information collected. So just a good resource. It comes as part of our membership with WRPA having these types of opportunities to attend. So yeah.
Anybody got any questions or comments on that? All right.
Oh, we got like a general question.
So
I'm not sure what that's referring to.
we got somebody online.
Yeah.
Some
Some of them.
For the dues, is that something, do you guys have to pay that, you pay that out of pocket or is the city paying those for you?
It
What's that
comes,
look like?
it comes out of our budget.
Okay. Nice.
I'll have to watch that.
Nice. Great. All right, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, so it's out of our budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a small budget for travel training type things. Yeah.
All right, moving, we're going into new business now. And first up is the pros plan survey update. Director,
Okay.
please.
All right. Related to pros plan, we are, we have close to 700. So we need to do, we're gonna be doing another push here. Okay, good.
Good.
Good, yeah. So we can tell, like, when the school district pushed it for us, we had a huge
Yeah.
response, which is great. When we've had ads, because we've been working with IT to do regular ads that are getting promoted. So if you follow us on social media, you'll see that.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, and we've had our parks crew, as they've gone out to parks, they have laminated ones
Yeah.
that they're posting too. So this is a video that I created last week with BCAT. So it's gonna start airing tonight.
City.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, whether they like it or not. So this is a quick little video I did last week with BCAT. So it'll be on social media, city's website, and then, like I said, starts on BCAT tonight, and there's no sound. Oh, I know.
Man.
Yeah. And I got to use a teleprompter, which was so cool. Never used one before.
Did you go to like the studio? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. it's very-
Yeah. Yeah, and the teleprompter, I think Dave messed with my settings at the last meeting today that I showed it at. Shoot. Because Yeah, we'll send you the link. I can just talk about it. Yes, oh yeah, it's great music, but you'll be able to see what it looks like. I mean, if I actually memorized my lines, I could probably say them, but so I don't know if you've ever had a teleprompter, but they're so high tech now that the camera's behind the words. So it's not like you're even looking here to read it and the camera's above or below it. It's literally right behind. But yeah, no, there's some cool music that they've got to it. So promoting, send people to the website. We've simplified the address so it's easier to get to. Come to these meetings. I say lots of great things about you, but can't hear it.
We don't get to.
Yeah.
Share the information, I always share it on my page too.
Good.
that the meetings
Yeah.
are coming up. So I check where.
Exciting.
Yeah, and then the QR code at the end for you. So yeah, no, that was fun, and obviously, I mean, it's
Now we gotta watch it again.
that's ridiculous. Oh, that's the next video. That's really weird. Oh yeah, we don't want to. You don't want to hear Garrett.
Whoops.
How'd you get hooked up with Big Cat on that? Did you reach out to them to put that together? Yeah.
Actually,
How'd that come together?
Colette and I went to their open house that they had, I don't know, a month ago, and just kind of got talking to them. We had talked about wanting to get better connected with BCAT, and
Great.
so got talking to Colleen and
Great.
and because they do all the video stuff for
Yeah.
the city, but
Do
yeah,
they have it? Do they have it?
Yeah.
I met Colleen, because it was, the gentleman's name was John. And then he retired. Charlene Burnett, my mother. She gone. Okay. Yeah, I think that the gentleman's name was John that replaced her, but then I feel like he's retired and now, I'm sorry, what, Colleen?
Colleen,
Okay, I remember
yeah.
that. Okay, cool. I think that's great. I think it's a great avenue for us to get it out there. And so is it just gonna kind of be on loop? They're just gonna just like air it in between programs? Do you know what it looks like?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and it was I
That's
don't know,
great.
about a minute and a half or so.
Awesome.
But it'll be on their social media, our social media. Visuals are always good.
We can't.
I'm sure they do. Yeah. Yeah, they can, I'm sure they can do their own analytics.
And on their-
Yeah, and even at that, it's through their platform is on YouTube, and so YouTube would track that too. Yeah.
All right. Any commissioners have any questions or comments on that? All right. Thanks for the update, Director.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. Okay, and into our big one of the night. This is our pros plan review for neighborhood and pocket parks. Thank you.
It's starting to get dark.
Thank you. I needed that.
All right. So what I've done this time that I didn't do last time is I went ahead and I marked on mine the difference. So then I can at least point those out as we walk through. We have a lot to get through.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get to all of the sites this last month. We're 4 short, so we'll carry those over till next month.
Perfect.
But we still have 15 sites that we need to talk about. So we'll just get rolling, and if we have questions or someone needs a break, please take one. But I don't want to don't want to keep you here all night either. I'm
I
respectful.
appreciate you sending this stuff out. for
Yes.
everybody.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yes,
good.
thank you. It is, yeah.
Okay, so we'll start with Blueberry Park.
Cool.
Hopefully the sound will work.
We gotta watch videos. It's great. This is, yeah.
There's water running over the.
Let me, okay, let me try something, because these all should be downloaded. So I intentionally downloaded them so then they wouldn't be like buffering. I even cleaned up my desktop so it didn't look so messy. Oh, shoot, I gotta share it first. Sorry. Let's forget that step. That shouldn't have done. Open Ken back up, share. Okay. We picked a good day. It was a work day for the master gardeners too.
It's popular.
Okay, so it is right here. And Ken, would it be helpful if we pulled up the comparisons for you to see on the screen?
If it's not an inconvenience, absolutely, but do whatever's
Okay,
easiest.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure it was helpful.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, so looking at Blueberry Park. Some of the previous items that we looked at addressing, get my glasses. We didn't have any real changes. Well, we had changes to the inventory. So we started to put in a number of parking areas,
I like that.
years of playgrounds, a number of picnic tables, benches, those types
Yeah.
of things as our inventory. So we can kind of keep track of those.
Mhm.
Community garden plots, 66 of those. Lots of different plots there. Nothing was removed. We just added to, those identifiers. Management concerns. There were some that we talked quite a bit about when we were going through this park. Planning bed maintenance, we've removed that because that is something the master gardeners works kind of in conjunction with our staff our staff manages the area along the roadway. And then really all the internal stuff the master gardeners have taken on. Same thing with the blueberry plant maintenance. They've taken that on as well. That's over by the playground. So that is something that's changed since 6 years ago. 6 years ago too, it was noted that the perimeter walking path was underutilized. And from what we've all seen and in talking with park staff, it seems like it gets used quite a bit now. And maybe that was a COVID trend that didn't look like it was getting utilized a whole lot. And so we have recommended to remove that as it being an underutilized piece and something that is of value to that park. Let's see.
One thing that I noticed on this park, as opposed to other parks that are in the playground program, I feel like Blueberry is a playground program park, is it not? Am I wrong on that?
I'm pretty sure it is because yeah, because I think AJ said that we have the lunch program
We
there.
mentioned it like I was yeah. Where it wasn't. Okay, cool. And now, yeah, that's not gonna make or break me on that. And that's okay. That was just something I picked up on.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's a good question. Let's see, yeah, and then improvement recommendations. Improve drainage in wetland areas. That was kind of something we were trying to figure out. Really, do we have a whole lot of control? We didn't feel like we had a whole lot of control to be able to do much improvement there, and so one of our recommendations was removing that as a improvement recommendation because it is what it is, and we've got a pathway that's maintained between the school and then obviously in high water events, then the pathway will get flooded. But again, that's just something that is the nature of where the trail runs. And we eliminated involving the garden club volunteers to maintain the blueberries because that's taken care of now. Under the management concerns, we did add vandalism. That's probably going to be a common theme at most of the parks. That will make sure it's there. And then long-term maintenance of the porous concrete sidewalks. That's something, so that's the sidewalks that are towards the front, where the garden, the planting bed area is. It's a permeable surface, but our concern is that with the growth of moss on it, we can't really take a pressure washer to it because then it will cause all the crumble and the material to degrade. So we've got to kind of figure out a good way to manage that. So then it doesn't get overrun with moss. So that's something that we do, want to consider the maintenance of that moving forward and how to address it. Let's see.
The reason why all the surfaces are impervious on this project is because we had ecology money to fund it. But there's not really an environmental benefit to having the pathways be pervious because it's not a food generating surface. You don't have so any water that falls on the pathway can be great. Escape for infiltration. So making it pervious, I think that the recommendation is when it comes to it, that make it impervious.
Yep. Yeah, and the base, Brian, what did you call it? The material that was used to construct the walking path? But the base of it is, I don't know if you could tell the circular pieces. Yeah, it was starting to get exposed.
Yeah.
And there's areas of the pathway that are narrowing up that we just need to kind of widen back up, but as the grass is kind of taking up.
The wetland setback is required to be pervious.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to replace that. But yeah, that gravel pave as we is that if gravel moves and then replenish it and compact it and it narrows.
Well, and with that stuff too, it's susceptible to the UV light and so it gets real brittle and then we'll start chipping, breaking, and get a mess everywhere. Ultimately, we're gonna need to go in there and add some rock and bring in a plate compactor and compact it out.
All right, any other comments for,
But just real quick, I mean, in concept, I like the idea of a security cameras around, but
Mhm.
in practicality, how would that work? How would you execute that?
We would, there's two areas that we could attach it to, either to the restroom or to the shed. That they have for the patches. And that's something that I've been talking with our IT about and finance about is looking into surveillance or security cameras within the park system. We've had a number of issues that luckily some we've resolved, some we haven't because I do think I hate the fact that I don't want people to be concerned to come into our parks and think that they're constantly being monitored. But really it's more for security of our own.
Do the cameras
Systems.
then just like forward automatically for a certain period?
A lot of them anymore are all cloud-based. Yeah. Yeah, so they used to, even 5 years ago, they would record over every 24 or 48
Yeah.
hours. Now it's all cloud-based and most of them hold information up to a month at a
Awesome.
time. Yeah,
So it's something you wouldn't monitor unless it was an issue, then you go back.
correct. Yep,
Okay.
yep. And that's usually it. Yeah, and usually we'll know, okay, when was the last time someone was there versus, and then the system I had before, you could literally just move your cursor along until you saw motion and then you could
Yeah.
you could pinpoint, or it shows you on a timeline when motion occurred.
Yeah, I didn't want red light cameras, we have to have somebody reviewing every.
Right. Yeah, or having to go to the site and sitting and watching a
Yeah,
video.
yeah,
Yeah.
gruesome.
Yep. Yep. No, technology's come a long way. So, yeah. All right. East Park. Lots of color. Yeah.
Better if we can do a video. Less hands in the later ones.
You're gonna notice each month how much better our.
Yeah. But this is gonna be dramatic. that-
Yeah, that apartment complex. is crazy. Yep.
This is the area that has been talked about for either.
Pump track, yeah, yeah,
Space.
no. Yeah, and even less now with that, what is some little water thing that they built, the pump station, thank you.
And there is a restroom in there.
Oh, I did not know.
You just have to open the right door.
Oh.
Is that a public?
It is. Yeah,
I did
there's.
not know.
So that's something that needs to get approved and advertised is the door is locked or has been locked in the winter, but there's no signage on it. And so when Brian and I went up to it, I used my key to open it because I wanted to see what the restroom looked like. Well, I opened the wrong door and I set an alarm off and I couldn't turn the alarm off.
Those handcuffs.
Yeah, yeah. So then I'm like, Brian, do something about it.
So he won't.
Let's see.
I was just out there and I thought there was a restroom and I.
Yeah, it's the
forgot
far
to unlock.
left one. Oh. Yeah, there are a lot at that site.
Huge.
Trying to figure out. Oh, there we go. I go that way.
But maybe, okay.
Is there a sign for it saying East Park?
I think so.
I cannot picture a sign up there.
There is a sign, yeah, there's a sign for the, and maybe it's just says YMCA and then it also says the ice rink, but
think
I
it
don't,
say East Park
does
or-
it say
or-
East Park on
Okay,
that?
So,
cool.
Okay.
Cool.
yeah.
All right.
But we can figure out-
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I think it does say.
Great.
Try to get this. Okay, so I didn't take any notes on the upper portion. So on the bottom, yes, we added 6, or you updated that. Is that how many stalls?
It sounds like- But Jim was telling me there's more, so I guess it makes sense.
Questionable numbers. Yeah.
But I told Colette privately, it's like, there's no way there's 66 parking stalls there.
Like that was too many.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I walk up
Yeah.
there and I
Yeah.
measure all my life. This is what
Yeah.
it's left.
Yeah.
Yeah, they-
So we've got 2 picnic tables there, 4 benches, 2 separate restrooms. So there's the new restroom and then there's the restroom that's up above. And then we also are adding bike racks if we have them. Improvement recommendations. We added to paint over the vulgar language, try to have a standard within 24 to 48 hours, if weather allows. Some of it's tough with paint and skate parks and that surface, because depending on the paint, it can create too slick of a surface. And removal can damage the concrete as well. So at least the vulgar language is kind of what we'll try to focus on at that site. Replacing asphalt pathways with concrete. So you kind of saw the asphalt pathways, it kind of came across just down the hill from the skate park. And then removing invasive species and revegetate the slopes. Yeah. The playground at some point probably could use improvement.
Yeah,
That
we
one's been there for a
developed it.
while. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what year that playground was put in?
By its vintage, I'd say like 90s, mid-90s. Yeah.
Any comments on the East Park?
I guess the coordination with skating rink and the YMCA. Seems like there should be some tie-in with those, and I don't know what that would be. I mean, the Y is busy all the time, and I know the skate rink is probably busy for facility, and I don't know how they work together, but it seems like they're all recreation, you know? And I don't know what I'm talking about, so just.
Well, there may be some long-term opportunities there
Yeah.
that we'll be looking at for collaboration.
I think one of the things that's like relevant to me in this is that, I mean, I know it's carried down from up above where it talks about residential development surrounding East Park has increased usage of the park and its adjacent recreation facilities. I think that's very relevant to the site,
Mhm.
It's
especially.
the recreational district is
Yeah.
kind of right.
I mean, there's a lot of homes up there now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when they tore all that, East Park's been there for a very, 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 very long time. And then, it was all Navy housing in there and then they tore it all out. The park was still there.
Yeah.
YMCA was still there. It wasn't as used as it was. Well, here comes in all this new housing,
Yeah.
There's a lot of people up there now.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's work there.
And looking at the green space area that's now used for dogs, or you see deer there, the below the ice rink. Part of my concern too is as the one apartment complex is getting developed, there's that many more people. looking for open green space.
Mm-hmm.
Everything down below is gonna be getting developed soon, and there's a lot of housing that's gonna be going in down there. The bowling alley location alone, I think, was 180 units or close to that at that location. And to me, I don't want to over program all of our spaces. And if we still have some just green space
That's
area
true,
for
yeah.
people to be at, it would just be nice to preserve that for now.
But they also did, rezoning of the hospitals. They upzoned a lot. There could be more people.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Forest
First Ridge.
Who cares about that one? Let's move on.
So just after a windstorm. I like,
With so much potential.
yes,
Yeah.
I do like how you ended that one. I was watching the
Mhm,
view.
mhm.
So I just kind of want to roll through a couple of spots here just because this is a good size area. So this is obviously one. I'm still directionally challenged here. I can't remember, looking north. Yeah, so this is where one spot the road is blocked off, and this is looking the opposite way. And you can see the center markers, they're more apparent further down. But if someone was to turn down the road and gosh, we were there 45 minutes and there was at least 6 or 7 cars that we just watched go all the way down and then come back and they didn't stop anywhere. But maybe we deterred them from doing something, I don't know. One of the things we talked about too was everything north of this intersection. Do we eliminate that and then reforest that? Then push everybody and create more parking here? And yeah, make this more part of the park.
Because that's like a driveway to the left, isn't it? Is it? I
Yes,
feel like
and
it's up
here's
to someone's
right
home.
here. Well, this is a rear access to their home. They have a driveway to the
Okay.
house, on the front of the house. So that's something we need to look back and figure out is there something that's
Not to
the
come up
city's
at this
got in
meeting.
writing?
don't-
It has been this last year. We've talked about that and just general access. So there's access that we have concerns with potentially at night cars going in.
Sure.
And I don't know if we have a picture of the front. So, I mean, these are all typically either
Yeah.
people that are homeless or yeah.
That's our nickname. Just lives in their car.
Yeah. But yeah, do we figure out a way to secure the entrance to the park in the evening and start locking the park up at night? Um, it is, yeah, yeah, and then even identifying what to do with this building. There are some assessments.
It used to be.
Right,
Wow.
yes,
Well, I didn't know.
So it's the city owns this building.
Mhm.
Okay. Is the
yeah, at least it's leased out.
to
Yeah,
to the scout.
The
So-
scout
and
group.
they still use it? Wow.
They use it.
Surprised it has an occupancy permit.
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm not sure if we can verify when the last time staff has been inside the building. We're assuming we have keys to access it. Yeah, yeah, so it's something that obviously needs to get identified, or, yeah. Oh, is he the one that, okay, okay, yeah, we probably don't. Yeah, yeah, so obviously over time, it's been claimed. Yeah, okay, okay, like the roof caved in. I don't know, what their lease is. Yeah.
But they're responsible.
Mhm.
So maybe.
Yes. Yeah,
They had a brick here. Stolen.
Mm.
Said they submitted a claim. To the insurance, so I don't know, nothing more.
mhm. Yeah. Okay, so as far as items, and I thought I was smart and crossed off things, but now that I crossed them off, I can't read what they say. Oh, renovate, or remove tennis courts. So there's some things that were listed in the previous that we really tried to just kind of consolidate, because the more we sat at this site and talked about it, listing individual things that we think need to be done, we just kind of decided, you know what, this just needs to be master planned. And then, you know, whether we think a pickleball court should go there, a tennis court or a splash pad or something in that space, we need to go through a separate process than just trying to identify small things. So that's really what the summary ends up stating is again, just some kind of summarizing that this park has some needs, a lot of needs. And I'm gonna be meeting up there with some of the department directors. So I'll go up there with Public Works and then the fire department to kind of talk about scenarios like what if, what if we reduced the roadway? What would it look like? I know the road has a name. It's the Carol Aaron's Parkway. Which can be a little deceiving too, because Parkway to me is like a highway.
Yeah.
Where I was at in Oregon, the Salem Parkway was a way to get around the downtown part of Salem, but you could drive 50 miles an hour. But this is obviously in honor of Carol. But yeah, how do we still continue to recognize her, but not?
Is a interior to the, it's not.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. The. the From there.
Oh, right. Okay.
Bollards there now.
Mhm.
Is I just really, able to drive through the park like that. I mean, it's causing so many issues, the dumping, and then a gate at the front. So the question is, does the homeowner that has that, access from the park, that would close off their access.
Yeah.
essentially.
So then you gotta get legal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, or. You know,
Yeah.
this has been on the agenda here before.
Yeah, so it'd be good to get that. Yeah.
The Carroll Aarons Parkway thing kind of got tangled over this commission at one point too, where they're I don't, has people brief you on this?
No, no, I was just
If I remember
responding in
correctly,
caps.
they wanted the park named after her. They were gonna donate. I don't remember what kind of money it was, but they were gonna make a significant donation to the parks. And it ended up not happening, but we renamed the road, and then they took that and then they weren't happy with that. And I'm like, we're not gonna do that.
Well, that house is there, was Carol's house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where she lived.
Good.
So she was council.
Yeah. Remember, but I don't,
Yeah.
that was her house.
And the driveway in the front is pretty steep, so I think she really relied on that driveway access to get to her house. So nothing was really done.
When you turn in there and you keep going all the way to the very end, it's like a cul-de-sac, right? You can't, it doesn't go through.
No.
You got- It's one way in, one way out.
Right.
But we want to make sure fire was involved.
Yeah.
Right. Is there a
Sure.
need for having
Sure.
access? Yeah. Yeah, there's a hydrant right at that intersection, where the back entrance to
Yeah.
that property is. So is that, I'm assuming it's active since it's still there. Yeah.
It was legal. And they came right.
Okay. Trying to,
Did they
yeah.
have to slate it for a master plan? Was it on? It's been on here, yeah. 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 Yes. Cool.
I guess this ends up being in this.
Yeah.
What happened to the idea with marking the trails and things?
Oh, yeah.
Lots.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
To the map, I know that I walked through the previous commissioner and he put out a really good map system, so. I was trying to get some input from the scout hall, to get the kids in there, maybe they could help name some trails. But then it all kind of went by the way.
That's kind of a nice, that's a good.
I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Because the markers allowed in an emergency, somebody to call in where they were at, stuff and.
Or just me trying to tell anyone when I call in or email in about an issue, it's like,
Yes,
I'm trying to pinpoint it and I'm trying to go. Should I ping it or, cause we need a good way to.
that might be a small thing that we continue to try. So,
One thing that Madrona Trails did recently, they installed numbers all around that intersections. I think that's a great way.
Oh, that is a good idea.
To identify.
Yeah.
Our LED does that. It's a very
Yeah.
clear way.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, Jeff.
That's part of it.
Sweat, baby.
Later.
Yeah.
yeah,
Did that map get sent? I remember they still have the maps in your files that, yeah. Okay, I'd have to look for mine too.
But I think, installing some wayfinding, some.
Yes.
Right about there, right?
Yeah.
Do it.
Well, I have a group of kids or young people that I know that would love to be involved. They're outdoorsy in that and they would love to, incorporate some native names, we've got madrona trees in there,
Yeah.
it's a nice ridge. So, it'll be fun. I'll let the community get involved with that.
I think that's perfect. I think that's really the thing to bring people in is to get them.
Yeah, and then we get and if they're interested, in the courts, do we keep them or not,
And there's a lot of history involved with the park and things with the guard placements and stuff, so that's a good thing to try to remember.
I guess I did have that thought in there. Just a picture of hanging.
Oh, really?
So we put.
Okay.
Yeah,
in lieu of names, numbers.
number, that would be
would
fine,
buy it.
yeah.
At trail intersections and a wayfinding sign at the bulletin board, that anyone that can take a picture with their phone and then go and
Perfect.
go into the forest
Yeah.
with, knowing the numbers where, where things are.
Yeah.
I just think it's so much easier.
There's not, is there a net up at the tennis court?
Mhm.
There is.
There is, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It's-
It's in better condition than anything else there.
Yeah.
Though I am, on the first at, is it at 10? I'm meeting Carlos and with the county noxious weed, Jay Jarvis.
Oh, cool.
Second, okay, yeah, I knew I had it on one of those days. Anyway, we're meeting to discuss the knotweed. It's a huge issue in there, so I said, please give me some guidance on how to, so there we're gonna meet.
All right,
Alrighty, yeah.
moving on.
Park that needs some love. Need some TLC.
So the next one, yeah, next one on your list is one we haven't been to, Haddon, but
Okay.
you're all very familiar with what's going on there.
Yep, definitely.
So we'll move on to Kitsap Lake and you can finally see your video.
That's so exciting.
Wow, wow. That's cool.
Yes.
It's such an upgrade.
So who was
Wow.
the one that removed all the lily pads that were on near the shore?
That's, example of
Yes.
Rocking.
Is it almost 4,000 fish? Is that what it was?
Wow,
3,800?
4,800.
4,000, yeah.
wow.
Great pathway system
Yeah.
up to the top.
And that's all ADA compliant stuff too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, how cool. That structure's cool right there.
Yeah.
I like
great
that.
view, yeah.
Yeah.
This will be where the playground's
Yeah.
going. And this will just be an open turf area in the
Yeah.
middle. Love these videos. It's a lot of Colette like running around and Brian and I just walking.
Staggering around.
These days, yeah. These days we get like 1,000 steps in and Colette's like over 10. This was a cool project, yeah.
We had to take out some trees too, right?
Yeah,
The neighbor.
that was before.
Okay.
but-
That was up by the
Yeah.
playground.
So this is the pathway to the upland and so you can.
This is like the next day, yeah.
So it must have been like it's an old homestead, these steps.
Yeah, these were all there. Yeah, it was kind
Yeah.
of cool.
So we just said, let's just keep it.
Incorporate them and then
Yeah.
create a gate. Yeah.
Yeah, but
We can only work that fast, right?
there you go.
So the ivy, this is less like impressive. I think it's more- So this is one of our wish list items, the
The drainage.
drainage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's looking good though.
Wow.
Alright.
How much, with like responsibility do we have on that lake for the waterfront
We as in parks,
as a city, I guess?
a great question.
The whole lake is not inside this, is it
Yeah.
in the city limits?
I don't think it is. No. Yeah.
The majority.
For the sheriff's, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw one of your concerns was enforcement of watercraft regulations.
Mhm.
I think about Camp McKean as well, the feds got it. Camp McKean.
Okay, so we're gonna kind of ignore the pre-renovation management issues. And then additional improvements, one thing we had talked about, that's on the 2021 or the 2020 plan is consider a loop trail around Kitsap Lake. We don't really think that that's feasible. It'd be great to have one, but as far as a kind of goal for that site, I don't think it's reasonable at this point. So we've recommended to remove that. And then same with the consider overflow parking across the street. The city owns a small piece of property there. Again, that's, I think we've got higher priorities than to try to address putting in an overflow parking there. It's something we can always consider if it comes up, but we're recommending removing that. For management concerns, we added maintenance access to the upland area, so there's really not a great route. There's a upper parking area, a couple stalls, that we're thinking that we can create some sort of access for a mower to come in now that we'll have turf in there. But that's just something we wanted to note as something that's a concern that we need to keep in mind, when, future planning and finishing up that site.
Public parking, just parking for employees.
Access for equipment.
It could even be ADA access.
Yeah, right. So you could park up above. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember if it's, yeah, I think it's just one. Yeah. And then we added, remove and replace the bulkhead. So that wasn't identified in this overall project, but is something that does need to get identified. That's down by the boat launch area.
Yeah, picture that. Is that like where there was like a little swimming area right there at one point? It said.
So we did post the.
Okay. Okay.
Mainly vegetation. Yeah.
Okay.
Mainly.
Okay.
We didn't permit it, so.
Yeah.
Do that later.
Okay.
It's something you don't really see unless you're on.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Asked Colette to go out into the water, but
Yeah.
to take pictures, but she said no. You can see it from the pier though. Yeah.
When are we hoping to do like a ribbon cutting ceremony out there?
Probably not until next spring.
Okay.
Yeah, for the playground.
Once everything's done, yeah. Yeah, we're hoping to get it reopened, obviously sooner than later. Our holdup is to get these punch list items done.
Sure.
So one of those is, I almost paused it, but wanted to just watch the video through. On the grates on the fishing pier, the direction of the grates are incorrect. So they need to basically be flopped the other way, because you could get in a wheel stuck in between the direction that the grates are running.
Okay.
So there's a larger gap the way it's facing now as opposed to that being sideways. So, yeah, as opposed to the parallel. Yeah.
Okay.
Is the vehicular gate still functional up there? Like, is that part get locked up still? Like when the contractor's done, they
Yep.
lock it up? Okay, good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and like right now, any days that there's no activity or when they're not there, we're not there, it's locked up. Yep.
They've been permitted to do donuts at all hours.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's nice hidden, especially up at that kind of cul-de-sac area. Yeah. Anything else on Kitsap?
So that might be just a page opening throughout this summer too. If we're gonna do some hiring fees, so we don't want that, some road and stuff, in place, so that takes hold, so, but as we we get into summer, people are gonna wanna be at the lake.
Oh, yeah.
utilizing it, so we're trying to figure out what that balance is gonna look like.
Is there a boat launch on the other side of the lake? I feel like the county has a boat launch.
There is a boat launch.
It's a
State.
state, okay,
Whoops,
There is that.
okay.
sorry, I didn't mean
But
for it
it's-
to start.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it's not. Yes,
It is.
yes. Okay. All right.
All right, Kiwanis.
Tennis court there too.
Oh, really? Down below here?
Yeah, right, so that little rain garden is, yeah, they're like.
Really?
I think there's 2 courts there, yeah.
Oh, it is? Okay, awesome.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
Yeah, routing.
These have always kind of been an issue.
It's a bummer. I love that fence book though. And Colette hid in the bushes until kids were there and then she just kidding. Can get her in trouble. That's what she gets for taking the camera. Okay. So on Kiwanis, we do have a 2024 date for the playground. 6 picnic tables, 8 benches. Changes that we have noted, improvement recommendations, obviously replacing the perimeter fencing. I can't remember if you can see it as well in that, but there's one section where it's really just leaning over. But it's deteriorating and I haven't talked to you yet, but the source, I've been in contact with the previous source, through the Kiwanis Club. Yeah, when I went and, presented to them a couple weeks ago, so I've got an update for you on that. Possible, so we'll see. But yeah, replacing that exterior fencing. And then, we have some structures of bench or tables that are fine, but the wood tops are starting to deteriorate and rot, and so replacing the tops of those picnic tables would be needed. We wouldn't have to replace the structures, just the tops of them. And then, was there anything else? Oh, no, I missed that. That was in there before, I think. Yeah. Yeah, so as you can see, it wears out. It's really great if you can turf the 6-yard box, which is that inner box, for those goal mouths, because that just gets worn.
Very warm.
And it's a lot less expensive if you're just doing the small pieces of it. So that's something that would be nice to get done. Yes, little leftover turf. Yes.
Probably use standard fence design. Now. Is it just like stuff?
Yeah, the reason I with the split rail for Kiwanis Park is, if you recall, it had never been really developed. It was like a schoolyard
Right.
with chain link fencing around it. And it felt like a prison vibe. It was just, yeah. So the goal was really to like warm it up and feel like a neighborhood. And so that's why we found this wood rail fencing through Kitsack Lumber, and it was a kind of a new type of a wood rail fence that was treated in an environmentally friendly way. And
You allow it to
shows,
rot.
so yeah, maybe less durable. We didn't know.
It's more
Yeah, we
natural.
didn't know. So, but typically, our new parks, we've been doing like vinyl coated chain link this last, but it looks better than the galvanized, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Either in a green or black. Yeah,
Yeah.
Minette has green. I
Minette's
think that
green,
looks
yeah.
really nice. So I think
Sure does.
a green vinyl coated fence would look good here too. I think we're just, the reaction was against chain link fencing after kind of what the
Yeah.
living with for so long.
Have we got any feedback from the school, like on, since the new playground's been installed, or they? I mean,
think they're
I got
happy
it.
with
I mean,
got
they
it.
love
I'm
it, yeah.
Loving that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I spoke to them when we shut down the slide. Just so they were aware, and they
Sure.
were actually very happy.
Yeah.
They'd rather not have their kids up there. But no, I think they obviously are enjoying being able to utilize that space.
Is there any, the agreement like that they have with the city for, utilizing that park is it time bound at all? Do you know that?
I don't know
Yeah,
that
okay,
agreement
and that,
real
that's fine.
real closely.
Just wondering.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they contributed.
They contributed to the development. There was someone
Yeah.
that, yeah, a member of the church did, you know.
Mhm.
And I think there was a time limit
Yeah.
on the agreement, but I don't remember how. My guess is it's probably expired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Kiwanis donate to it as well, right? The group of the Kiwanis.
Yeah, the Kiwanis Club played a huge role in the new
Yeah.
playground and donating
sure.
to get.
For
it
sure,
in the
for sure.
playground,
Yeah.
And they have in the past, like hosted like work parties there. I don't know if they're still doing that, but yeah, they've been really.
Cool. Good stuff.
All right. Anything else on Kiwanis? Moving to Manette. All right.
Did we do brick paper? Did we do brick sales at Haddon?
No.
No, okay. I'm probably not kids that way for neither.
They were great for kind of a community. feel.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Did you pick out all the music on these, Chloe, or what? I love it. Yeah, I like it.
Options, I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah, right on.
Summer lunch drop off places are.
Oh, yeah.
Been part-time for the schools.
For sure.
Deliver lunch and them in the summer. Very well attended.
I would have gotten like a shot of the parking lot at the senior center. But
Okay. So for Manette Park, I really crossed something out on the inventory, but I don't know what it is. The last one.
Brick pavers?
Brick pavers. We decided to not note that as an inventory item.
Are those ones you?
Oh, no, it is. I don't know why I did that. I think I looked at that and I was trying to correspond down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could donate to it. Awkward. Now I remember why I scratched it off, because I meant to not scratch it off. Because I saw it down there.
it's the timing of, I can't remember how much we charge per brick, and we have to kind of wait to get a group of bricks to make it worth the while.
And a purpose for it, yeah.
But I mean, the purpose could be fundraising for the, football.
Right.
Do you have a sign that people can scan?
We don't advertise it, no.
No. So as far as inventory, we noted 6 tables and then 6 benches. And then we added the bike rack to it. Management concerns, noise of pickleball. We've received a couple complaints about that, and there are some ways to address that. The windscreens, or there's other options up that we could probably come up with against just that retaining wall is, I think, a part of the big issue there too. Just reverberates off of that. Vegetation management on the hillside, so that's kind of the area coming off of the senior center parking lot down to the lower field. So right now we have some temporary fencing there because people have kind of cut through instead of going along the pathway. So replanting and establishing some plants there that you don't want to walk through. For lack of a better way of saying prickly plants, or yeah. Yeah.
Marbury.
Yeah. Improvement recommendations, still have on there the replace chain link fence, but everything below that's new. Consider windscreen fabric, as I mentioned, to try to help reduce some of the noise. Designated court hours to match like a noise ordinance or the park hours, so maybe limit, make sure people are aware that there's a limit to when they can be there, so it's not louder in the evening.
There's no lights on the corners there.
There's not.
There's no no lights, so maybe like even like late, like during the summer, maybe we stop early or don't allow it later in the evening. Install park rule signage, that's something that we noted that we didn't see there. And considering additional lighting, was that for like pathway type lighting? Do you remember? Or shelter?
It was lighting to come off the pole.
Come off of the pole to
To
light
light
to
the
the
shelter
back.
area.
Okay, yeah.
Been there at night with the lights on, and I think the concern was like making sure people can safely get to their, walk up those steps. At night. I don't know if there's enough light.
Mhm.
Are the soccer field lights, are they turned like off and on, like through the same program that Scott uses out at like Pendergast?
Yeah,
Cool.
Warren Avenue, Manette.
Yeah.
and Pendergast.
Awesome.
They've got an app.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I do not know who did that. Yeah, on the lower field. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so speaking on the lights, you can control them through an app now.
Yeah. Neat.
Yeah, too easy.
Hey, Commissioner Riley, I had a question for you. Are you still involved with Catalyst?
I am. Had a board meeting this morning.
Hey, I mean, I remember a while back, this is probably honestly, it's probably a couple years ago now, Ken, they had approached the city about, using this park as a playground. Did we ever work through that? Like, can you
No,
talk about that?
A little bit. The residents took an issue with it pretty heavy in the public comment. So the school decided to go a different direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
Hmm.
Did you guys like do your own playground? So
Yes.
folks, you guys aren't utilizing that playground. You guys aren't walking down there and letting them utilize that playground. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Sir.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah,
More
absolutely.
child play.
Yeah.
Just eliminated child play. Okay, any other comments on Manette? Matan is another one that we haven't hit yet, so we won't review that.
Okay.
And so we'll move on to the Warren Avenue Playfield. I know, I just picked up on that too, yeah. Yeah. Something's going down. All right,
Oh, they have bricks?
Yeah.
they have
Sure
bricks,
do.
yeah,
Yeah, right when you enter.
yeah.
Yeah, neat.
They are neat. They're just, it's a lot of work.
It is. It's a great opportunity for people to be connected to a project, but they're not going to solve the world's problems.
I volunteered with, patrol, volunteer patrol, and we were always frequently tasked with going to this park because of that bank, and it was always full of the weeds and the blackberries. Hoping that's cleared out, we don't have to go up there anymore and make reports on that. That been okay now, that bank?
Yeah, we've only one.
Besides the maintenance of it.
Besides
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yeah, so there's some things that obviously have changed since 2020, since the project's been completed. So removed relocation of the playground away from the street, so that's been completed. We removed landscaping and irrigation as a inventory item. Um, that's a given. Let's see, and then obviously pre-renovation management issues, the only one we kept a couple on mini use park. Well, it's highly utilized in a small site. Vegetation on steep bank difficult to maintain. So even though it's been cleared up, it's still yeah, it's a big slope and not necessarily the safest for our staff to get up there with equipment too. 18 paved parking stalls, 4 picnic tables, new irrigation system in 2021. Management concerns impact to neighborhood due to limited parking. So lots of on-street parking gets utilized or needed in front of people's homes. Added vandalism to this one as well. Improvement recommendations, we added partnering with the Peewees to use their security cameras or tie into them somehow. So they do have, we noticed security cameras on the building. And so thinking maybe there's a partnership we can come up with where we could add to it. But utilize their building to be able to at least show us a good angle towards the restrooms, the playground, or the shelter areas to try to help us out for any issues that we encounter.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Any other so one of the management issues we talked about was potentially tiering that slope up to 11th for maintenance. Cause it is very slick and, I think they mostly take weed eaters up there. To maintain that, and then if we tiered it, then we would be able to take, mowing equipment up there as well. To help, but. Anything else anybody had? And Ken, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, please chime in anytime if you have comments.
Oh, will do. Good stuff. Very thorough. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, at the end of those,
Well, the videos get shorter, 'cause they're
smaller parks,
True.
yeah. So let me see if I can hopefully do this. And Ken can still,
Stalls in that parking.
yeah,
That's surprising.
it doesn't even seem like that many, yeah, yeah. Okay, so 9th Street Mini Park.
Oh, there it is. Video's over.
It's almost halfway over. I could loop it if you want me to.
We used to have a little playground down there, actually, at one point. It was like a little slide.
My backyard arena.
Is it its entire park? Yeah, so we saw the plans a couple months ago, so you're kind of aware. Obviously, this is that's what you have to climb through to get down to the water. And then where the vehicles parked is gonna be that grass surface.
Yeah.
Is that strong? Couple of years ago.
Yeah, I wanna say next year, yeah. Mhm. I thought they did. Yeah.
You found that buffer down there. That marine buffer I dropped off for you.
Yes. Oh, yeah, 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 it's back here. Yeah, yeah,
Well, this is weird. Looks like it got away from the Navy.
yeah, we sent Carlos to go get it.
Yeah. I stuck it up.
Yeah. Yes. No, we appreciate that. Okay,
There's people down at that 9th Street Park quite a bit.
it gets used, yeah.
Little
Hanging
lady.
out, yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious with some little improvements, how much, if people will utilize it for accessing the water.
It will definitely improve access to the-
Yes.
Cool. Cool.
We did
Very-
in the new-
Very-
I put in the design.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, awesome. It's great.
I know, when I first looked at this slide, I was like, that's not there.
No.
I was like, oh, it's because you put them both on the same, yeah. Yeah, so we, let's see, site is currently being designed as we discussed. Improvement recommendations, coordinate with Public Works for long-term maintenance as a stormwater facility. We wanted to put that in writing because that's our recommendation as opposed to a park. That it's more viewed as a stormwater facility, but we can help maintain as needed, but it'd be more of a stormwater facility. And then work towards adding it to the Kitsap Peninsula Waterway Trail and add some signage there, so.
And
Yeah.
there's a precedent for
Mhm.
you know, to the public, they see it as a product, but it's a storm. Used or eligible to be maintained with utilities. So
Yep.
it's-
Maintained and developed as well, so. For
Well,
sure. Any way we can.
There's gonna be a lot of things.
Yep. So Arvon is the other one that we haven't been to yet, so we'll work on that next. Yes, yeah. Almost as excited as 9th Street Mini Park.
Things-
Yep. So my favorite place is on a super nice day.
It's gorgeous.
Just such a cool view.
Yeah. It's very
Yeah.
popular. I mean,
Yeah.
you're lucky to pull up there and be able to park.
Yeah.
People love it down there. Well, that needs some TLC. huh?
Mhm. So there's some we've been talking to as we go along through all these parks.
There's that.
Signage.
Love it.
Oh,
We've got a few different
Thank you.
varieties of signage. We
That's
kind of
nice.
have a standard, but like Warren Avenue's different
Mhm.
than some of the other newer signage. I like kind of the old retro look, but I do like the very clean look of the newer green and they're probably marine grade pressure treated
Mhm.
4x4s. So you can tell here too, we had 2 picnic tables, one's been removed. So there's only one there right now. But issues obviously being along the water is erosion causing some of this, and so we need to look at how do we address this. I was there a week ago, Brian. Do we normally have a flag on the pole?
It wasn't there the first time we were there either. They put
Okay,
that down
I
by
keep
the-
forgetting to ask, because there was no flag there last week and
Right.
someone was asking me. Okay,
I know that there's some on order right now.
okay.
I noticed the tables there are the metal, you know, spots and everything. Put those kind of tabletops down and you have to worry about the wood rot or the deterioration of it versus, you know, that metal.
Put the powder coated
Yeah.
on the other one?
Yeah, so that was.
Yeah, we'd have to see if they could. I don't know if that'd have to be a specific design. There's
Yeah.
tables that are out there like that.
I
Yeah,
mean, of course, being. Special. which is good.
right. Yeah.
Well, East Farmington Rotary did a huge amount of investment
Oh.
into the park with the stainless steel rails. And that thing was
New
falling
roof.
down, I think. I think it was condemned almost. wasn't it?
Yeah.
You couldn't go out.
It got made out. For sure.
And I don't know if the city did the pilings reinforcement with the concrete.
I think they, yeah,
Yeah, I thought the city did that and the Rotary rebuilt the whole top
yeah,
side of it,
yeah.
which has held up very well.
Mhm. Yeah, we did note that it probably needs to be repainted. Just kind of freshened up, but yeah, no, it's in pretty good shape. And then I've obviously noted replace the concrete base to the flagpole. And then we added in 6 parking stalls, a picnic table and 2 benches. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of space for much there. But like we said, there's always people
There's
there.
Always.
Yeah, it's always getting utilized, which is great. I mean, I've never heard from any neighbors. Are you talking about just them reporting activity or
Yeah,
other
yeah,
things?
Just think
Yeah,
what these neighbors,
yeah.
because it's pretty busy and there's.
Mhm.
There's signs, and, you know,
Yeah.
When I walk them, there are a lot of times people are just sitting in the car
Yeah.
going.
Sure.
Yeah.
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 That's kind of what I do.
For sure.
Get a coffee,
Sure.
sit there and look. It's amazing how few people are actually on the beach versus just in their cars.
Yeah.
Great spot to park. Yeah.
That's gorgeous. Yeah, ferries going by and stuff. That's neat.
All right. Ready to move on to Bataan?
Yeah.
This is another one that we kind of felt like was in that same category as Forest Ridge, is that it just needs a lot of work.
This is really even
Mhm.
cute. How far the side.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
small. It's- but there's no this district doesn't really have a neighborhood.
Was it gifted to the city?
Let's see. Says it was developed.
It's nice. That's a-
It's nice, it's got great views too.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what is gonna be the ceremonies for Baton Day and, the Philippine community is gonna be there, so 10 o'clock, so.
Okay.
If you're free.
When is this?
April the 5th,
Okay, I
Yeah.
think I'm in town.
but that might be
At the park?
nice, yeah, at the park, that might be a nice opportunity.
Okay.
Parking stall.
Yeah, I could walk there.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, and looking through, looking through here, we did under improvement recommendations from 2020, it noted a restroom facility, and we kind of felt like that this was more of a neighborhood park that people aren't necessarily traveling to get to, so maybe a restroom facility isn't warranted at this site. Took inventory, yeah, sorry, Pocket Park.
We did put restroom. Maybe.
Okay. No, I think you got it. I just,
Somebody's talking about destiny.
yeah. Yes. No, you're right. I just crossed it off because it wasn't written the same way down below when I was going through. Yeah, it would be part of the master plan. Yeah. Mhm.
That. Better do.
They're advertising the events.
Yeah, over by Star, it used to be like an Elks or an
Yeah.
Eagles or something, and now it's the community center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used
Oh, that's what it was. It was a VFW.
Yeah, they
Thank
used to
you.
have the ball field too.
Yes.
And they got into.
Yeah, that's
financial
accurate.
trouble.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
The bar was the most popular thing.
Yes.
They sponsored things from the Bugle Corps for youth. They did a lot of things. But like I said, then they got into financial trouble later on.
Yeah, so obviously you're creating a master plan that would include accessibility because really there's no way to get to the park access wise.
I had a question on the flagpoles, like if and when we do put up flags, is that a daily thing? Do we put them up and take them down every day?
No.
You
Gotta
put
put a
lighting
light on it.
So then, okay.
Mhm.
Like
Look back, at.
Bachman,
Or,
yeah,
or Bachman.
Bachman, yeah,
You'll see about halfway up the boulders, the solar light.
perfect. Cool. Okay. All right, so maybe just the flags got a little ratty or something and we took them down and they just needed to be,
Windborne or
yeah,
something like that.
sure.
Yeah, or sometimes, and I don't know if we don't have any really large flags, do we? Because sometimes you'll do that if there's a big windstorm that comes through, you take
Take 'em
them
down.
take them down.
That's what I was wondering about the concrete.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Could yeah, it just it could be stressed over time. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, so the master plan and then improving pedestrian access, like I mentioned, from Sylvan Way, a stairway down from that upper side. But we also thought maybe there might be, oh wait, Sylvan's the one that goes
Yeah.
north south.
Cause this is like, yeah, it's Sylvan, it's like on Olympus, right? This
Yeah,
is right from,
yeah.
down from your
Yeah.
parks, like where
Yeah.
the maintenance guys are
Yeah.
on Olympus still, right?
Yeah.
When you guys mow down there, do you just drive, are you trailering a lawnmower over there or you just drive it down the road?
Generally, but
Yeah, pick it down. Fine.
there's not enough really area to move a trailer around. And with no irrigation,
Yeah.
the trees that are there, it's so the ground
Yeah.
isn't fine.
No, nice.
Okay.
Cool.
Landing.
Oh, yeah.
Been to multiple weddings in Lately.
Mhm.
It's a little
Where'd
neat
you
spot.
park?
Yeah, on the street.
That was our biggest concern. It'd be great to really kind of make it a nice wedding venue, but without taking green space away, you can't really create much more parking there.
Section B.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
This was like a ferry terminal.
But
Was this a mosquito fleet? Oh, okay. Is that anything? That would be cool to include that in the history.
yeah, I always thought that it could be like, sort of like a kids up there at some bus stop for the ferry. You know, in the future, it could be that again.
If they start going to Silverdale, why not?
Exactly.
Be a parking- Yeah.
Open space.
Oh, that's it. Get off and get on the bus. You don't need a parking lot.
Yeah.
So, one of the previous recommendations was to, it wasn't a recommendation, it was to consider removing, this access road. And, at least when we were there and we ourselves used it as a pathway. So we kind of felt that we wanted to remove that as an option. We'd rather see it stay. Because it seemed like there was use for it to have it there.
The launching, the kayak.
Yeah, so they'll probably be carrying them, or like if you're lazy like me, I got a wheel on mine.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, so 11 parking stalls, 3 picnic tables, 2 benches. One of the management concerns is not accessible. The bank erosion due to stormwater runoff. So there's some issues there with the bank. Substandard steps. And that was the
At the
other thing I was
gazebo?
gonna show.
Down to the water.
Down, so you have a below kind of view, I think, right here.
Yeah.
So this area over here, these are starting to pull away from the concrete too. So
Okay.
this whole structure needs to be fixed. And I don't know, was the substandard stairs related to this or I think it was this as opposed to the shelter. Let's see. Oh, visibility. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
How's
And
the gazebo holding up?
looks good from here. It could use some work. Yeah. It's really nice in the dark. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even sure what the thought was on. Maybe you were around, Colette, during this, was for the small size. Was there? Okay, I'm curious what
Yeah.
the reasoning, if it was for a certain use or thought process, or maybe there were multiple. Oh,
Yes, the weddings that I've been, everyone's, could you go back to it?
yeah.
So they stood in there and then we were up more.
Oh, so they'd actually,
Yes.
that's where they would
And
do
then-
the,
Correct. Ceremony.
and then the wedding party would just be off the side.
Off to the side. Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. One of the other recommendations we had was to make this more visible.
Hmm.
So the easiest way to do that is we would change the landscaping.
Your bus stop.
Cause we stand there and we look at it and it's like, it's butted up right against the sign.
Yeah. New lighting.
So
Yeah.
coming at it from that direction, you're not gonna see the sign at all.
They built one of those little tiny ones right next to that too. But throw it down, build-
Oh, yeah.
Tiny ones.
So one of our improvement recommendations, the new ones are replace gazebo, replace steps at at railing and shoreline, and then remove vegetation blocking entry sign.
When you replace the gazebo, you just do like a regular picnic shelter then, would that be what we would have in mind? Or,
Yeah, I think a site like this would probably, like one of the ones we've been putting in, I would almost consider whether that side or a little smaller, but maybe something too that might be more intentional for weddings.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, when the wedding was there, is that something we rent out? Did we serve it?
They had
Probably
to,
part of the
yeah,
park.
I don't remember
I'm
that.
sure it's just part of the park rental as opposed to a separate $5 a day rental for that. Yeah.
Like the improvement about putting historic or signage to, you know.
Yeah,
That
I
would be
like I
cool.
like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think so.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. We are getting closer. Yeah, we are on to Roto Vista.
Yeah, and on this one, I can see you guys just kind of combined it into one.
Yeah,
I think that-
we decided to make it one.
That's
Yeah.
the main thing.
Sure. Sure.
It's such a beautiful view.
Yeah.
And if people were aware of that going on the Bridge Trail and brought people down to that site, it just would create more activity there. Yeah. So like a trail, but not a trail for the theater would be cool.
Is there a sign for this? Can't picture a sign here anywhere.
This stuff.
Okay, okay.
It's not like.
Yeah, here's your lower part. Yeah.
That's our staged picture.
Yeah, it's a.
It's
really
neat,
cool-
yeah, it's cool.
Have you all been down to it? Yeah, I mean, it can be a nasty area, but it's got great views down there. It's really beautiful down below. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so so we're calling it Roto Vista Park as opposed to Lower now, so that's one change. Um, let's see, the Rotary dedication plaque, was that something new we wanted to add? Under inventory? Or was it there? Okay, oh yeah, we added that to the inventory, okay. Improvement recommendations, developing a pedestrian pathway from the bridge to the water.
The plaque's on that rock, right? Is that where that plaque is? I feel like that plaque is on this big rock.
Looks like that.
Yeah,
On that one right there?
that, yes. That big, yes, that one right there. I'm pretty sure that's where the plaque is.
Yeah. Upgrade seating and landscaping. They should consider public art at upper parcel. So drawing, creating something to draw people to that site. Provide continuous vegetation clearing to maintain sightlines. This is also, the upper area is also an area that is identified for some improvements, I think, as part of the bridge project.
Mm.
And so most likely, we believe it's going to be a staging area, but there'll be also a requirement to reestablish.
Sure.
And so that'll be an opportunity for us to have some funding to help kind of design some things into that upper portion. In addition, there are some trees with Puget Sound Energy. They're relocating some lines that they have in between the upper and lower. And so they'll be removing a couple trees and replanting, planting 6 trees in there. So those are just things that'll be happening through a different project.
This park doesn't get used at all.
No, it's,
And it's.
It's
part of
space.
the noise.
yeah,
So I don't know. One of you. I mean, to me, we should sell it. But on the other, if we're not, we can do something to address the noise.
Yeah.
It's just-
yeah, I think the upper portion, we need to look at some mapping of ownership. I think a fair amount of it may be owned by the state as right away.
Okay.
But the bottom, yeah, I think, yeah, and that was kind of one of our,
They're two separate.
Yeah.
zones
Mhm.
That is owned by. And section of the three.
Okay.
Parcel, and there have been talk about, selling this upper parcel, but in the past. The trick is that it's a great access for the lower part.
Yeah.
And I see this as more of like, not really like a park that you'd wanna go hang out at, but if you're more like a spur off of the bridge trail, would be like a viewpoint,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That you're like, running or, biking. Hey, let's go, have a picnic down here, and I don't know, it's nice down there at the water.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I used to walk by it. Never. I think one of the
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
concerns
I think-
would be the noise.
well, that's.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy tried to get that in the public comment process for the trail of getting some kind of noise deflector, and they have some of those systems, but it didn't get in the final design. For the extended bridge.
I thought I had read something about like the oh, the falcon nesting, it's in there. Yeah. The other thing that I saw when you walked by it, that big concrete, the big square piece of concrete
Oh,
in there
yeah.
was like what they were tying during World War II. They were tying
Mhm.
like, blimps to that to keep
Crash
people from,
bullets,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of neat, historical stuff. Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Mhm.
They're all over the place when you went there into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Neat. Yeah.
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 There you go. There you go. Okay, Pat Carey Vista. Another really long video. Yes. Honestly, looking at these sites in the winter, it wasn't a bad thing. Cause we could really see what was going on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So on Pat Carey, improvement recommendations from 2020 notes to pave the parking area. We're recommending to just adding rock and regrading
Sure.
the parking area instead. I mean, I think that's something that's can be easier done and may make more sense, especially with the amount of erosion that's occurring at this site.
Site looks like it was just a fill site.
Hmm.
Is that how it
Yes.
got developed?
Yeah.
We dump stuff there.
And the whole road there.
Yeah.
Eventually they're
Hmm.
the road. Should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Public Works was at a meeting that they hadn't. I don't know what it is.
I think they were
Hmm.
putting a new sewer line along that one point. They wanted to. I saw something about they're gonna have to acquire some property for a pump station. You know? Yeah. You could, yeah.
Take care of the erosion problem.
Yeah. So that was about it. 2 benches.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of focus on making some improvements to that parking lot. to eliminate those potholes. Okay. Sheridan. Yes, almost there. It does.
Lady on Yard's pretty empty. I mean, it's really not.
Yeah,
utilized
they've
very
done,
much anymore,
well,
so
they've
it's
done a
great
great
one.
job of cleaning it out. Yeah, because we're trying to eventually look at this as one large,
I love it.
a larger
That'd be
park
great.
site. But yeah, these are the views. Some crazy, yeah.
Road of Vista
I
right there.
can't get this one.
No,
In the size of the city accessibility. I mean, the condos, they should be some other. And they were sale to the city for $90,000. To expand. Nobody wanted. to
nobody
do
wanted
that.
it.
I said, they don't make waterfront anymore.
Do you see people pull down there at all? People still park down there?
Seen some people that'll walk
Yeah.
dogs down there. Yeah, yeah, they'll pull straight in there.
Yeah.
And then you probably didn't notice it, but we even saw someone swinging on the swing. We were starting to lose it at this point. And so we like pushed the swing. I thought you did too. There it is. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that's when you start getting a little loopy.
But another one that doesn't, there's no signage over there, signifying that this is a park. It's just, sure, it's directly across the street from us, from Sheridan Park.
There's a number of signs within a few blocks that note Sheridan Park, but
Yeah.
that's the area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
No.
Yeah, it's got so much potential.
it does. Yeah.
Integrate the maintenance area yard.
Hmm.
That was kind of the main.
Yeah, and so looking at creating an identity for this park, positives, it's got on-street parking already. You don't necessarily have to use parking down inside of it. Plus you've got the community center across the way for parking.
Inventory, swing.
Yeah, we put out of the swing. It previously it said playground.
There's a little playground. down
Yeah,
there.
and so we just put swing. Yeah. Couple picnic tables, 2 benches. One of the maintenance concerns is the ivy all over the trees down there,
So,
quite a bit. And then improvement recommendations, adding in there, evaluating the health of the trees that are on that slope. But yeah, this is another site too that would be kind of fun to create some sort of master plan for. I've talked to a couple different groups and it's tough because, it could be a really cool, like, overlook amphitheater type space. This is a spot, that could be a pump track area as well. Number of different opportunities. It's partially fenced if we wanted to use as a dog park, because in East Bremerton Dog Park is something that we've been wanting to identify and get developed. So there's a few options, but again, with those views, what is the highest and best use of it? Is it to sell it or is it to develop it as green space?
The. So the
Mhm.
place near there's gonna be a lot of pressure for people to be able to be exposed to nature.
For sure. Yeah,
And the-
absolutely. Yeah, yep. Yeah.
Yeah, the views would be all.
No.
If we were to relocate the maintenance yard, what's like the thought there? Up at Olympus, where
That's been a thought,
Yeah.
setting the fencing up there and encroaching onto that property. That seems to make the most relevant.
Would
sense.
consolidate everything.
Nothing, so I'm just kind of kicking around ideas. Yeah.
Wish Public Works had a better place to put some of their sand. It would be nice to extend all the way under the bridge because
Mhm.
in Portland, they have like a Saturday market and stuff where
Mhm.
that they have, it's all covered because of the bridge.
Oh.
And they have a farmer's market under there.
Mhm.
And it would be a big draw for this little community, you know.
Or they have Burnside Skate Park.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. In Seattle, there's a troll that they under one of their. We'll do that. We'll do that.
Well, I'm glad that old building, Don, that was down in that main church, was down there forever.
Yeah, the maintenance yard has been much better than it does right now.
Yeah, yeah. No, they've done a good job. And at the same time, they're removing some things from underneath this building too. Because the basement is the same floor print as the top and it's just been storage over years. We've stored probably 80 years worth of tables and chairs that we've replaced down there. Okay, you guys ready to move on to the last one?
Do it.
Okay. And this is one that a lot of people don't realize is
Yeah.
ours.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no sign.
There is a sign. You see it at the end. Yeah.
What is it? I couldn't picture the room.
Yeah. Former waterfall. Oh, there it is.
Oh, but it's not like our.
No. Oh, no.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nope.
It looks like a, yeah, enforcement. sign.
It does, yeah. Yeah. By order, City of Bremerton
Yeah.
Parks Department property by ordinance. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so thanks for mentioning basketball hoop. It wasn't on there before, so we added it. Management concerns. So previously it was noted that I think at that time they must have still been running the waterfall that's there. Because it was really, really high, and so they were concerned and needing to discuss with the school, if they wanted to share, and I'm assuming discussions occurred and they just both decided they didn't want it. Because it's definitely hasn't run in some time. So we just noted that utility expenses were too high to run the water feature, even though it's still there. We just wanted to at least make note of that's why it's not running. So there's an area, and I don't think we have it in the video, the wheel stop. So there's an entrance pathway into the park and there's a wheel stop in the pathway. And so even replacing that with a bollard, and I'm assuming the wheel stop was put in so people wouldn't drive into it. But if we replace it with a bollard, then it becomes accessible at least. And so the wheel stop's causing it to not be accessible at all. We couldn't find really another route to get into the park. So that's what that recommendation under improvements would be related to.
So is there an existing, I hear, I'm reading about the, like this lease agreement with KCR. Is that still in place?
Yes.
Is it- Okay.
Yeah.
We used to, I think we leased it. Stop.
Yeah, so we don't
And that's-
maintain it.
Yeah.
Yep, still. Yeah.
Okay.
But again, this is one of, this is one of those that, do we look to potentially sell it to them to utilize? They could fence it in, and I don't know how much of the public really uses it within in the neighborhood at all. It's not a destination.
No.
Close there.
It's very
Yeah.
close there.
Yep.
That was the
Yep.
first gut reaction, was like, "Leave this,"
Yeah.
but then,
But I would love, I would love to do a true nature play
Yeah.
area though too.
I think that's keeping it.
With that, we have, upgrade site furniture there. Is
Mhm.
that like the deteriorating wood?
Right, yeah.
But right now, it's not our responsibility.
And that's what we need to kind of, we've got so many agreements in place. I haven't gotten into that part of my train, my training, but yeah, I would, yeah. Yeah, regular maintenance, but I don't know if it's kind of like a standard maintenance agreement where whoever's utilizing it does regular maintenance and then we would do replacement. I'm not sure how that's written.
It's under the-
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah, the building. though is like
Yes.
cities.
No,
Yeah,
building's not.
just-
Yeah.
Sure. Right. Sure.
You did?
Yeah. Then later I looked there.
Those here.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, that got us through everything that we were able to do
Yeah.
this last month. Like I said, we missed 4. Which we can go back to. We also don't want to get too far behind either. And so we've kind of been chatting. We'll hit the other 4 this week. Just so we have those for next month. And then I'm just gonna share this to just kind of remind us where we're at on things. So that was neighborhood parks and pocket parks. These first few ones we're hitting, they're hard. There's a lot of stuff. So thank you for working through all of this. Next month, we'll do the 4 that we missed. Then we'll get into the natural areas, plazas, streetscapes, greenways, all of those pieces, and try to get to as many as we can. I don't think in May we'll need the entire meeting for survey results, so we may just extend the April 22nd topics into May, so then we don't go too late next month.
When's the survey over?
Survey is over April 30th. Yeah.
We're at over 700.
Yeah, we're about 700 right now. We're getting some trickles here and there. So we'll see. I'm sure the video will get hundreds a day after that gets out into the public.
So,
Yeah, no, but otherwise, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. So we're still on schedule.
I appreciate the video.
Yeah, I love, yeah, video.
It's I'll tell you, Colette's done a lot of work on that. They're fun, but I think you're enjoying it. Yeah. And it's given us some ideas too of how we can utilize it on our website, updating pictures with videos and just making things a lot more interactive and visual for people.
And it's
Yeah.
up to us just to remember, oh yeah.
Oh,
this is-
absolutely,
this
yeah.
is- that's
Yeah.
what we do.
For sure. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Let's move into our last thing. It's commissioners' comments. We'll start with Commissioner Riley. You got anything for us tonight, bud?
Just had one quick question back to Sheridan Park and the community center. I know with the bond as a faith community, we've had to pivot and people have been inquiring, asking me, is the Sheridan Park Community Center available for rental? And have you guys been seeing traction with people trying to reserve that space with anticipation of some of the other spaces not being available till those schools get remodeled?
So that's a great question. I'm working with the school district and their consultants on putting together essentially our outdoor athletic facilities, opportunities. So they have basically the floor plan of what they need to help with, let's say, like rugby and other groups. And so we're gonna provide them what our dimensions are for our fields. Facilities, I've been talking with the pickleballers, of course, they're on top of things.
For sure.
So we're
Yeah.
looking at, yeah, so we're looking at trying to incorporate some times, and they understand that we have other things we need to program in, and we have 3 courts here versus the 12 that they're used to having there.
Yeah.
So we're working with them, and we'll work with others that need gym space too. But that's really what we've been working on, is just the athletic side of things.
Gotcha.
Don't have a whole lot that are reaching out to me yet.
Okay.
But from that meeting you and I were both at, I've got a couple people that have reached out to me recently. The
Gotcha.
football group has recently as well. So
Okay. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
yeah, yeah. Otherwise, we've got space if you know of anybody that needs some space.
Okay. Thumbs up.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Riley. All right, Commissioner McDonald.
Well, just a great meeting, really looking for item 8 on the agenda. Looking forward.
Spoken from a former council member.
Commissioner Dawson.
I went to the tour.
Yeah. All right.
Looking forward
All right.
We'll make it really dazzling.
Yeah.
talked with in the past, I've talked with the neighbors around there. I think some people we even had people come and present a couple of times on various ideas they had for that part. It'll be interesting.
All right, Commissioner Weigel.
I'm good, thanks.
And I'm good. All right, meeting adjourned.
Number 8.
Thank you, folks.
Thanks, Ken.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
Yeah, you too.
All righty.